Hello there. Today I'd like to talk to you about 9 things accidental or first-time landlords should know. With the ever-growing number of laws governing the private rented sector, becoming a landlord for the first time can be somewhat daunting. So I thought I'd just put together a few top tips to make sure you understand your legal obligations so that you can be sure that you don't fall foul of landlord legislation. Landlord licence. Well, first and foremost, you need to check out if you need a landlord licence from your local council before your property can be legally rented out. This legislation was introduced in 2006 with the main purpose of ensuring landlords maintain their rental properties to a good standard. With regards to tenant referencing, as a landlord, you will need to rigorously reference new tenants to check they are reliable and will be able to meet their rent payments each month. These include credit eligibility, employer checks and previous landlord references. Most importantly, landlords must check that their tenants have the right to rent under the Immigration Act of 2014, as this can result in a fine or even a jail term if you don't comply. So it's really important that they are conducted thoroughly and methodically. In regards to tenancy deposit protection, or TDP, if you take a deposit from your tenants, you must protect it in one of the government authorised tenancy deposit protection schemes. You will need to protect the deposit within 30 days of receiving it, and failure to do so could result in you not being able to evict your tenant, plus the full return of the deposit and a fine of up to 3 times the value of the deposit. With regards to energy performance certificates, or EPCs, you must serve your tenants with an energy performance certificate and your property must be at least EPC Band E before letting it out. If you're caught arranging a new let without ensuring your property is up to these standards, again, you could be fined, and they're quite hefty fines as well. In addition, since the 6th of April 2018, you could be banned from managing your property for breaching a number of laws about how you manage your rental property. This means your local authority would take control of your property and collect the rent, but you would still be liable for the mortgage and any costs such as repairs. With regards to safety checks, as a landlord, you are responsible for ensuring the property is safe for your tenants, and as part of this, you are legally required to get all gas appliances checked by a gas safe registered engineer on an annual basis every year. You must then provide tenants with a gas safety certificate within 28 days of the annual check taking place. In addition to this, fire alarms should be fitted on every storey of the property from the start of the agreement, and carbon monoxide detectors must be in any room where solid fuel is used. Incidentally, on that one, we do actually recommend that you put a carbon monoxide detector in places, for example, where there's a gas or oil boiler. In terms of a written tenancy agreement, you can't have a comprehensive enough tenancy agreement. It's a document between the tenant and landlord and sets out the terms of the tenancy. Although written agreements aren't a legal requirement, it really is best practice so that both the tenant and the landlord are clear on what their rights and responsibilities are. Regular inspections. Now, sometimes a lot of landlords overlook this, and it's really important to undertake regular inspections of the property. And although, remember, you can't enter the property without the tenant's permission, as this is classed as trespassing and is actually illegal. It's best practice to grant them 24 to 48 hours written notice, and this should be stipulated in your tenancy agreement. With respect to landlord insurance, if you do not inform your buildings insurer that you're renting your property out, you risk invalidating your policy. Most standard buildings insurers don't provide the protection you require as a landlord, so it's worth taking out specialist landlord insurance. A good policy will cover a loss of rent, damage, legal expense and liabilities. And the final tip is about getting your property ready for the rental. If you're offering your property as a furnished home, think carefully about what you can provide. Remove anything valuable or sentimental. Aside from the fact they're at risk of damage, it can be off-putting for tenants to rent a property that is filled with someone else's belongings. You should also think about the type of tenants you want. If you're hoping a family will move in for a few years, they may have their own furniture already and therefore won't want your stuff. However, if you're renting to university students, it's highly unlikely they'll have accumulated enough belongings to furnish a property. So regardless of who your tenants are, before anyone comes to view your property, make sure it's clean, tidy, and you have completed any modernisation or DIY projects. I hope that's been of help to you. If you are a first time or accidental landlord and need further advice, please do let me know. More than happy to give you some further advice. My lettings manager Lucy Whiting is also available for you. You have my contact details, and I'd just like to say thank you for joining me and look forward to speaking to you soon.